Greetings. This is Paul the Poke from PaulthePoke.com. Resurrection, the atheist, always demanding proof. And we are Resurrection Sunday, 2022 in our Gregorian calendar, 5782 on the Hebrew calendar. The atheists, they're always wanting proof. And, their arguments they're all the same. The Bible doesn't count as evidence, so they say, and as they see it. Jesus is imaginary. The Bible is a fairy tale and just a book of stories. Religion is for the weak-minded. You've all heard these same old cliches. Feel free to insert the next cliche here. And they spend a lot of time on imaginary things as they see it. I guess that makes a little bit of sense. They stand for nothing. They believe in nothing. So they argue about things that are imaginary. I mean, that's a real intellectual pursuit right there. And the atheist claims to have read the Bible. They've studied the Bible at a liberal university and read it cover to cover, of course. Took a class, one class, under a liberal tenured professor, very smart, very intellectual. And then they were brainwashed and told what to think. So here's my challenge to the atheist. Sit down by yourself. Read, comprehend, and think. Stop regurgitating what somebody told you. Be an independent thinker and stop acting like the collective Borg. And as an introductory to Jesus, I recommend the book of 1 John. It's not going to take you guys more than 10 minutes to read it. I dare you. What do you have to lose? I mean, who knows? Maybe you might embolden some greater arguments. Who knows? Maybe you might come to believe it. That's very scary. I know it's rough for you, but so at any rate, you want proof. Eyewitness accounts. Well, we got plenty. 1 Corinthians 15 verses 6 through 8. After that, he appeared to more than 500 brethren at one time, most of whom remain until now, but some have fallen asleep. Then he appeared to James, then to all the apostles, and last of all, as to one untimely born, he appeared to me also. So in that passage alone in 1 Corinthians 15, there are 512 plus eyewitnesses to the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Other evidences. John 20, verse 11, but Mary was standing outside the tomb weeping. And so as she wept, she stooped and looked into the tomb. Now they were Mary Magdalene and Joanna and Mary, the mother of James. Also, the other women with them were telling these things to the apostles. Salome is included with this group in Mark 16, verse 1, for a total of at least four more women. And if you look back in that culture, women were not viewed as a source of truth yet, or evidence. The gospel accounts have no problem taking what women have to say regarding the issue. Luke 24, verses 13 through 15, and behold, two of them were going that very day to a village named Emmaus, which was about 7 miles from Jerusalem. And they were talking with each other about all the things which had taken place. While they were talking and discussing, Jesus himself approached and began traveling with them. Cleopas and friend are two more witnesses. Matthew 27, verse 54, now the centurion and those who were with him keeping guard over Jesus, when they saw the earthquake and the things that were happening, became very frightened and said, truly, this was the Son of God. And to close out the list, a Roman atheist and his fellow guards, seeing was believing for these boys, but Jesus was not the only person who was resurrected. He was the first, but there were others. Matthew 27, verses 52, 53, the tombs were opened, and many bodies of the saints who had fallen asleep were raised, and coming out of the tombs after his resurrection, they entered the holy city and appeared to many. So, and then the phrase fallen asleep, figurative language for those who had passed and died. And that's how the Bible views a dead body. It's just asleep. It's going to be raised. So at any rate, these events, documented above, took place during Passover. Jews were required per Mosaic law to come to Jerusalem for the holiday. So tens of thousands of people would have been in the city visiting, in addition to the population of Jerusalem. The evidence provided in Scripture would stand in a court of law. Harvard law professor Simon Greenleaf wrote a treatise on the law of evidence. The document is viewed as the greatest single authority in the entire literature of legal procedure. The United States judicial system functions on the rules of evidence established by Greenleaf. Professor Greenleaf, an atheist, took up the issue of the resurrection of Jesus Christ, and the facts changed his mind. So there you have it. There's a liberal who set out to, or a liberal atheist. I don't know if he's liberal. He was an atheist who set out to discredit, the fact that Jesus was raised from the dead. And he ended up coming to believe based on the evidence, which gets to the point. This is not an intellectual issue. It's not a point of smartness. It's a moral decision. And I know that'll rub some of you folks the wrong way, but that's just the reality of it. It's a moral decision. Professor Greenleaf's legal standard of proof is not the issue. Because, the case for the resurrection of Jesus is legally tight. And who cares anyway what some man-made court of law says about it and how they interpret the facts? And the issue is this: do you individually believe the record? And that's what's important. Your eternal destination is in the balance. It's not going to matter what a court says, a court of law here on planet Earth says about this. We will all individually be judged based on the fact of whether or not we believe the resurrection. And some people are like, well, what does that have to do with anything? The resurrection is power over death, and death is equated with sin. The resurrection is the power over sin and death. His death paid the penalty for the cost of sin. I mean, if there's no resurrection, we're just stuck in a box and we're in the ground and we're buried, never to come to life again. You got to have the resurrection. It's power. It's power over death. It's that simple. So, wishing you all the best of a Resurrection Sunday. If you enjoy this, please feel free to share with others. So, take care. Have a good one. Bye.